Welcome to What the Health with Josh and Kim, where we answer your most pressing questions about your health.
With 40 years combined experience in health and wellness and fitness and nutrition, we hope to bring you valuable information you can use daily to become your healthiest self. Welcome to another episode of What the Health with Josh and Kim.
What's up, guys?
How are y'all? This is one of those chit-chat sessions that's honest about what we were discussing before we recorded the last one.
Yeah. So, get ready for a real episode here. So, question of the day, what the health is up with falling off the wagon?
Yeah. Do we ever fall off the wagon? Have you, I get run over by the wagon.
You're right.
Yeah. Ba-bump, ba-bump. A lot. Yeah. Did you gain the quarantine 15?
So, yes, I haven't weighed myself, but I know how heavy I feel. I don't know. It's just been something I've always been able to do. I can kind of guess how much I weigh based on how I feel. It's kind of
I got a little fluffy in the middle. I can
tell. Yeah. So, I mean, I'll be the first to admit that, whenever we got told the news of having to close everything down and how crazy everything's going to be, I was really stressed about what was going to happen with, my team in particular. They were my first concern, and then, the spa and all of that. So just, there were a lot of things in play about a lot of things that I couldn't control. And, all this time I started feeling like I need to fill this time with stuff, So, I took maybe a day or two to really just reflect on what's absolutely most important and what I can do to, really make some money so I can cover the bills. Cause I mean, I'm still going to have all these.
Yeah, you're shut down totally.
Yeah. So, the spa, luckily, since we opened, has always, paid for itself in terms of everybody that comes in, we get the bills paid and we're doing great, So I've never actually taken money out of the spa. So for it to just completely stop, I was like, it was just a great degree of stress, but it was kind of one of those things of, in my reflection.
Did you stress eat?
That's kind of what I was going to get to was, I was exactly doing that was, I'm not a big stress eater. I just happen to be sitting, not doing much, and food.
There's nothing else to do. Let's eat.
Yeah. And, at the time, everybody was starting to like hoard food and groceries and things. And I was just like, all right, I looked at my freezer and my fridge, and then I was just like, if we absolutely had to, I could survive like a month. I mean, I could honestly survive on very, very little. And I looked in a pantry and it was pretty sad, but I was like, okay, well, since I was staying home, I was like, well, I guess I'm just going to eat what's here, and then it just became eating out of habit or mindless eating or just eating while I was watching TV or while I was watching videos on how to learn something or anything. And, the mindless eating, I think, is where we end up gaining all of the weight. Is you're not even hungry. You're just eating just because you're bored.
Yeah. Well, actually, at first I lost weight because when I'm like super busy and distracted or stressed or something. And of course, you and I started like 87 different projects when the quarantine hit, and I would go all day and not eat. So I lost weight right at first. I've gained it back. I mean, I'm fine now, but I did lose weight at first. But what gets me usually is, and what did get me with the quarantine was I become the finisher. So I feel like you can't waste it or throw food away. So instead of, I would just finish off all this stuff. So like I had made one of Tracy's favorites, chicken pot pie. So I made a pot pie.
Nice.
And he eats lunch out because he's still going into work. And so they always eat lunch there. And so I would eat pot pie for lunch, and then we'd come home and he'd be like, well, I'm not very hungry, or I was just going to eat peanut butter or something. And so then I would have pot pie for supper. So I ate like a whole pot pie because I'm the finisher.
Yeah.
And it's up to me to not waste food and to eat it all.
Right.
And so I've really kind of struggled off and on for years with that. And I find that I just hodgepodge and nitpick, and I eat, the spoonful of mashed potatoes that's left over, and then the chicken, and then you eat all this hodgepodge stuff to
Yeah.
finish it off, and you're not really satisfied, and then you eat cereal.
Hey, I'm right there with you. I mean, my
Ate a whole
go-to is
box of
not
cereal.
cereal, but I have this thing with like Oreos. Sometimes I just want Oreos and a glass of milk, and that's
Y'all,
probably
okay, yesterday this is a tip for you girls. Have a donut friend. It's a donut friend that you can call and say, I really need a donut. And they can talk you off the cliff, and you just need a donut friend. And so I don't know what it was. I don't eat donuts. I haven't eaten donuts in years. And for some reason, I probably saw it on TV. That's usually the trigger. You see it somewhere. You haven't thought about a donut in 42 years, and you see a commercial and you're like, donut. And all you can think about is donuts. And I knew they closed it too. So it was 1:53. So if I could just talk to a person for 7 more minutes, I would miss my window and not drive to the donut shop and eat donut, which I didn't do. I made it, but you need a donut friend.
Oh, that's awesome. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that you brought that up actually about having, friends, somebody to talk to. And then I think that kind of emphasizes the point of, yes, it's perfectly normal to fail. Whenever I say fail, I mean, let yourself go a little bit or not really reach your goals, or, if you're trying to consistently work out every day and then you haven't been, or you said that you weren't going to eat this much and you ended up doing it anyways, it's really normal, that something that everybody goes through. And, us, Kim and I, we're trying to, give you advice that's, somewhat helpful, or hopefully helpful in, reaching your fitness and nutrition and your mental health goals. But, the reason why we wanted to make this episode was just that, hey, we're in the same boat. We do fall off as well. And, I'm personally right in the middle of it. But to further Kim's point is, they always say that you're the average of the top 5 people that you hang around. And, that is what's going to ultimately make or break you when it comes to being better, having better habits. So, if you're with people that are trying to be healthy and you talk to them, then they're going to talk you out of making those unhealthy decisions, just like Kim's donut friend.
Be picky about who your friends are. But you literally said when we were fixing to record this episode, the other episode we already did, was I feel like a hypocrite because here I'm like gained the 15 pounds or whatever it was. And here we are talking about health. And I feel, and that's when I was like, this is our next episode. We need to let people know that that's okay. And that it's not a reflection of your character. And that's something I personally struggled with for many years. My younger years was that if I gained weight or if I didn't do what I had intended to do, whether it had to do with, eating right or working out or not, or just, schoolwork or whatever it was, didn't really matter. If I didn't complete or do what I had intended or said or whatever the goal happened to be, it was a reflection of my worth. I internalized that, and that is super unhealthy and mentally going to take you down a road you don't want to go. And I know a lot of women who do that, especially pertaining to their health and their body image and their weight and things like that. They punish themselves with exercise because they ate the donut, or they, reward themselves with a donut because they exercised, or they'll go into this deep spiral of, I can't do it, I might as well give up, forget it.
Yeah.
Because they, had a lapse one day. Something that I did that was helpful for me. I'm a visual person. I know you are too, Josh. We're both visual people. So I know you're going to have a story to share as well. But something for me that I do, I write on my bathroom mirror with dry erase markers all the time. Right now I have a whole calendar on there because we have a trip planned in December, and I've got 7 months to learn Spanish and lose 5 pounds. But anyway, so I write on my bathroom mirror. It's kind of how Tracy and I write each other notes and stuff with dry erase marker. If you don't do that or have that as a habit, think about it because it's super fun. And you see it at least twice a day when you brush your teeth in the morning, when you brush your teeth at night. So anyway, I would make a little calendar and I would check off the days that I exercised and that I kind of did my nutrition good or felt good about my nutrition that day. And what it did was it allowed me to quit starting over all the time. I would mess up and I would have a hankering for a donut and I'd run down to the store and get a donut or 6 or a dozen and eat that. And then I felt horrible. And in the grand scheme of things, if you can visually see, 3 meals a day for a week, there's 21 meals. I messed up 1 out of 21 meals. It's a great visual. You didn't fail completely. You're not worthless. You didn't, mess everything up and you're never going to get back on track. If over the grand scheme of things, the trend is good and going in the right direction, you're good. Success. Celebrate that. Quit punishing yourself so much. So that's just my little tip on that.
Yeah, I really like the way that you separate, your actual identity versus something that you did.
Yeah.
And how those aren't the same and they shouldn't ever be,
Ever. Yeah.
Yeah. So I really like that you made that point. I think that's extremely important. I think a lot of people do that. I'm very guilty of doing that myself. Yeah. And and it's one of those things that you just get emotional about because you get in your head, and just like what you were saying, 1 out of 21, logically, that's nothing, yeah. And it should never be something that just hinders you. But I think we kind of give things a little more worth than they should, and we overthink things all the time. And I'm definitely one of those as well. And sometimes, you just got to keep moving forward and know that you're on the right track,
I like that you are bringing the male perspective to that too, because I think us as women tend to think that we're the crazy ones. We're the ones that attach more emotional to our worth and our identity, like you said, and guys don't suffer from that. So I'm glad that you were honest and open and admitted that this is a person problem, not a gender, woman or man problem.
Yeah. Well,
and
I'll go ahead and confirm y'all are the crazy ones.
But hey, and I'm going to reiterate that at least we're not boring. I would rather be weird and crazy than boring any day of the week. So
okay. Yeah, I'll give you that.
Y'all follow crazy around. I'm just saying.
Yeah. In terms of male perspective, though, I think we always carry this persona of having to just be strong all the time. And that can definitely do a number on, if you're not getting the results that you want. So, I mean, I'm definitely one of those, you're not getting the results that you want. You might have fallen and you kind of beat yourself up probably worse than what other people would do,
Yes.
You're less empathetic with yourself than you would be with another person. And that's actually a lesson that I just recently started thinking about. And, just kind of, if someone else did this and they came to me, what would I tell them? Because I know to me, I mean, I'm always on the verge of putting myself down, just like cracking the whip on myself,
Oh yeah. It's the first thought. It's the first direction we go. There was a movement. It's been a while. It was kind of the look good naked movement. And, women did this mirror test and they had women especially say, what are you saying to yourself in the mirror?
Yeah.
And is that something that you would ever say to your best friend, your daughter, your sister, your mother? Then why would you ever say that to yourself? And it was part of that self-love movement, which it can get kind of hinky. You can take anything a little too far, but I do think that the idea, the original thought behind that was good. And I'm glad that you said that about strength. That's huge. I've never thought about that, but that is so true about men having this idea in their mind of what a man is and what strong is. And if you're not living up to that, that's huge. That's powerful. I think as health professionals too, I know for me, I have thought that of myself. I'm supposed to be living at a certain standard because here I am, knowledgeable, guiding, coaching, teaching, educating others about such and such, and I'm not even doing it. And which is exactly how you came into our recording session today feeling. So I think that it's important to know that we all feel that at one point or another. And I don't know. What are your thoughts on that further? Or
Yeah.
did
Well,
I?
I mean, I think it's normal, right? Like we're all supposed to, have these feelings. We can't be perfect and positive all the time.
Sure.
Sometimes you just gotta sit in it and not necessarily try to fix it all the time because I'm a fixer, I just want to fix things
Yes.
the instant things happen. I'm just like, all right, well, let's get moving. Let's try to fix this. And sometimes there's nothing to do, there's nothing that you can do to fix it. It's just,
Be still.
yeah, just
I
kind
love it. Sit in it.
of sit in it. Yeah.
We're going to sit in the donut store around our donuts.
Okay. Maybe that's not the best place to sit, but
That was one of my friends. I actually texted 3 of my donut friends, and one of them said, Did you hurt yourself? Are you talking about you? Do you need the sit on it donut? And I'm like, oh no, honey, I'm talking a real donut, because it's so out of character for me to say that. I guess she thought maybe I had hemorrhoids. I don't know.
yeah.
Oh,
Well, I think as we kind of bring this to an end, I think it's extremely important, just to further Kim's point of, having those friends that you can rely on to talk to you through these types of thoughts. Because believe it or not, or like it or not, the situations that we're in with the shelter in place, and even as we transition out, life's not going to be the same as it was before. So definitely going to be more sedentary, and probably when I say isolated, we're always just going to have that thought, no matter what, when you're going through a store, that you should be X amount distance from somebody, and that does like a subconscious thing of always wanting to be separated from somebody. So, and I think I'm one of those who put up that mental emotional barrier against people whenever I meet them, and now we're putting in a physical one. So it just kind of probably exacerbates that for the people who are like me.
well, no, because we literally, you and I, completely ripped down the emotional barrier.
Yeah.
We had to, but when we started this podcast.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And so I think as long as you're growing and learning and trying something new, and both of us were very picky, and we're both, again, real hard on ourselves about failing. And I think together we're better because we say, let's just do it. Let's just forget the perfectionist and let's just try it and do. And if it's a big fat bust, then okay, it's a big fat bust. We learned a lesson and whoop-de-doo. And but I think you can take the same attitude into maybe your health and what you're trying to do there, and it's not going to be perfect every day, and that's okay. And you can sit in it and be still for a minute and regroup, and tomorrow's a new day. His blessings are new every morning. The morning comes, it's a new day, and you can start again and start where you were. Don't go all the way back to the beginning. Start where you left off. But I think that's a great word. I loved that you were honest and open enough, Josh, to verbalize those feelings, and that we were able to talk about that today.
Yeah. So just
yay.
finishing note here, whenever I say sit in it, yes, sit in it, be still, analyze, but at the
Move
same
forward.
time, move forward. Yeah. Like analyze what it was that you did. Yes, it was wrong, but it's not who you are. That's not part of your identity, like what we were talking about. But then move forward, learn from what mistake you made, and make a commitment to be better next time. So that way, I think
and you got to always keep doing and working and pick yourself back up and go again. But you're going to trip and fall on your face. It's okay.
Yeah. So
knock your teeth out.
There you go. Yeah. And I'm telling you that, we believe in you and whatever you're trying to achieve. And so
and we're here to support you too if you need it. Please, we would love to hear from you guys. Please shoot us a message or a comment or email us or something like that so that we can hear from you and help you in your struggles too. Be your donut person.
Right.
You don't want the people to push you out of the wagon and run you over. You want the people that help you back in the wagon. So
All righty. So now it's time for our interesting
and probably disgusting
fact about the human body.
Yeah.
So it is my turn.
Yay.
And in the time it will take me to say this sentence, 50,000 cells in your body died and were replaced by new ones. Crazy.
Really? Okay, so 50,000 died and were replaced. Okay.
Yeah.
Inside and out, I guess, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, basically, the point that the reason why I picked this one is, our body is constantly changing. And that's how we should be also, with our mind and our thoughts is, we are getting rid of the old and bringing in new ones constantly in our body. And that's what I think we should do with, this time and just moving forward.
Yes. Shedding the old and bringing in the new. I love it.
Is that with a D or a T?
Whatever.
Whatever.
My new favorite saying, it's all gravy, baby.
All right, awesome. Well, we hope y'all enjoyed today's Come to Jesus episode.
Absolutely.
And check out our other podcasts at getfitwithkimtoday.com/podcast.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye. We hope you enjoyed our time together today. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on our most current episodes.
If you have something that leaves you asking, what the health? We would love to hear from you. Go to getfitwithkimtoday.com/podcast to connect with us and submit your comments or questions.
Be sure to get your free smoothie recipes ebook on our site as well.
Until next time,
stay strong
and live well.